So here is the Memomatic from Omega. The watch is very attractive. And as I was saying, it's kind of a response to the Memovox because the Memovox came out in the early 50s and this didn't come out until the early 70s. And they only ran it for 2 years, 71 and 72. So it's kind of an interesting, quaint little side journey in the Omega Speedmaster line because this is a Speedmaster date and alarm. It's quite the interesting piece. Now, the big negative on this compared to the Memovox is that this only has one spring barrel for the movement and for the alarm function. So it does not run long. The alarm doesn't play for long. It only buzzes for about 30 seconds and then stops. In the case of the Memovox and some other alarm watches that have a separate spring barrel for the alarm runs until that barrel runs empty. So you can get a much longer chime, as it were. Now, this is also not as loud as the Memovox, but it does vibrate on the wrist, and I have used it, and it will, if you're a reasonably sensible sleeper, it will wake you up. So I wouldn't necessarily trust it to alert me of anything in a noisy or crowded environment, but I would definitely, depending on, like I said, how light you sleep, I would trust it as a wake-up call, as it were. I do trust it as an alarm clock. I don't necessarily trust it as an alarm watch for, in the case of the Memovox, they actually expected divers to react to the alarm, whereas in this case, I would say anything beyond, your next phone call at your desk, you're not going to really get a lot of traction out of this. In fact, I had intended to use this at trade shows, to time meetings, but I realize it's not going to be nearly loud enough or vibrate aggressively enough to catch my attention at a noisy, busy trade show. But it is still an incredibly beautiful watch. So you see on the back, it's got an engraving of the Seamaster hippogriff or whatever creature, and there's the movement. As you see, it is an automatic movement. It looks really nice, well-made piece, and there is the hammer, right? There is the hammer for the alarm, and you see it strikes that metal ring to set the alarm off. It really is a good-looking movement, and shows you what a good watchmaker Omega is. And it's a shame that this could have been a better watch. They could have put in a second spring barrel, done some things to maybe increase the volume, like the Memovox. But for a nice piece that has an additional function, it's not a bad watch. There we go. Not very loud, but it's still a nice movement. The execution is good. The results probably lacking, which is probably why they only made it for 2 years. But it is a sharp-looking piece. Now, the way the alarm function works is the top button controls alarm on, off, and set position, to enable it to be set, but it is set from the crown. So this is the alarm control button, and this is the crown. So when you pull it out to the first tick, the alarm is live, right? So in this case, it would then go off a little after 3. Now, if you pull it out completely, you can set the alarm. So let's set it for just a little bit ahead of the current hour. And push in the crown, pull it out just one tick to arm it. And let's just wind the watch ahead. Note that changing the hour does not hack the movement. Can you hear that even? But trust me, it did just go off. So it doesn't hack the movement to set the watch, by the way, as I was saying. And by using the top button, you can set the alarm and enable the alarm. Now, when you do set the watch, you cannot set the date. It does have a quick set date, but not through the crown. It actually has a hidden pusher at the 3 o'clock to advance the date. But then there are quite a few watches that use a hidden pusher to advance the date, notably the Valjoux 7750 chrono. But this gives you complete control over, of course, time setting, date setting, and alarm setting. So it is a functional, useful alarm watch, if you don't mind the fact that it's not a very loud one. But then that's probably why they only ran it for a couple of years before discontinuing, because, it didn't quite gain as much traction as they would like, I imagine. But it is a beautiful piece, and it is worth wearing just simply for its looks. In fact, let's throw it on the wrist. I'll give it a quick show. Wristwatch check. I'm wearing my Air King, the recent one. I really do like this piece. It is just such a beautiful watch. There is a review on it, so check it out if you're interested. So I have it on a Milanese, but I believe factory was originally leather, or it could have been a metal. I believe it depends upon the model that you were choosing. It was also available in a more cushion case, like the Speedmaster Mark III, I believe. But I do like it in this case, more of a tonneau case, standard-ish shape. But it does look good on the wrist. I also have a Fun with Straps episode with this, so you can have some fun with it. But the dial is gorgeous, and the alarm function gives it kind of a stepped look to the dial that was unintentional, I imagine, but works very well for the watch. So that was the Omega Memomatic alarm watch. A nice piece, but more a nice watch to wear that happens to have an alarm than a watch that you would buy, in my humble opinion, specifically for the alarm, like the Memovox. But it is a nice watch to wear. Thanks for watching. If you liked the episode, please leave a like and subscribe, and tell your friends. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.